I don't know how this looks, but hopefully it looks okay. How's everybody doing? It is Saturday the 14th, probably about 4 something in the morning. And a lot of things are supposed to happen today. Maybe protests, maybe riots. I'm not sure. Stuff has been going on, obviously in LA. Certain other cities, ICE and protesters are clashing, supposedly. But I had to make this video. I told y'all I'd be making certain upgrades to the channel. I'm shooting this video on, better camera. It's my old phone. And now I'm using this one, which is hopefully a nice upgrade. One of the many upgrades I'm trying to do for the channel. Well, listen, if you didn't hear me before, I said this and I'm going to say it now. When you're talking, you should be teaching. When you're listening, you should be learning. And with that being said, this is Jared, the 20-year recovering sex addict, 20-year recovering abusive sex addict. No filters, no edits, no redos. The channel that is not in YouTube's algorithm, the channel that never asks you to like, comment, subscribe. We don't do any of that over here. My pain, my life, my story. This is not entertainment, this is education. I realize that YouTube probably shadow bans my channel and certain content will not get views, but I will never switch it up. I'll never sell out for views and likes. I can't do what most content creators do. I'm trying to understand. I understand the algorithm more and more with each upload. And I've been running this channel for almost 3 years, but I've really only been taking it seriously for the last year and a half, 2 years. But I want to thank y'all for tuning in. My day ones, much appreciated. People just passing through, I appreciate you too. Maybe it's for you, maybe it's not. If it is, pull up a chair, I'd love to have you. If it's not, I hope you found what you're looking for. Let me try to keep this as simple as possible. This is a dictatorship, you know? And when you have a small group of people making decisions for the masses, how do you keep people blind? Well, not by lying to them, even though they do. The main thing that they do is keep y'all fighting. If you keep people fighting, you keep people divided. So it doesn't matter whether you're fat, black, small, men, white, whatever sex you, whatever your interests are, whatever your sexual interests are, it doesn't matter if you keep people arguing with one another, then they never wake up. They just keep running the rat race. Everything you're told, it's all a lie. One of the hardest things I've ever tried to do with giving my life for God is living and being a part of the world, but coming on here and sharing this ideology with y'all. Still going out in the world and play dumb. That's where the isolation occurs. That's where you feel alone. I never understood how hard that would be, you know? Because when I go out in the world and I go to work and I'm around people, I just play dumb. And not that they are too. But if you live on a higher frequency, if you're up to the games, if you open Pandora's box, you can't close it. You can never go back to the person that you once was. That's lies my sex addiction. That's how that's how my channel got started. But along the way, I found God. And now God comes first before anything, before any job, person, place, thing, any amount of money, nothing. God is always the first priority in my life. And I realize I have to survive out here and I have to pay bills just like you do, have priorities and people, things that I need to take care of, even though I don't have family, I don't have friends. I still have a duty in this world. And one of those is to wake people up, spread this truth. So the way I see it, there's only two ways out of this, man. There's only two ways out of this. One, you try to become as self-sufficient as possible. Try to live off the grid. I keep telling people, get out of the cities. Try to get away from everyone living around you within arm's length. Because when bad things happen, you'll see how ugly people just get. I don't think people realize how evil human beings can be. And the only reason that you follow rules is because you're told to do so. But that's not God's law. That's man's law. And when the economy crumbles and society crumbles, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll see firsthand if you're around these big cities and living in these big cities. That's why I moved to the country. Number two is you have to think outside the box. Because at a young age, they tell you to go to school, get a job, go to work, pay your bills, pay taxes, work every day till you can't. People say 40 is the new 20. No. Working 60, 70 hours is the new 40. Not age. It's your workload. And then hopefully you don't get sick. Because what you're doing is relying on a system that was already corrupt and broken to begin with. Their 401k, that's a lie. Their Social Security, that's a lie. Everything that they say is a lie. How do you pay into a system where America has debt in its own currency? Shout out to Papa Duck. He been talking about this. But it's the truth. If money isn't backed by anything, then what are we paying bills for? Why do we get paid in in toilet paper? That's basically what we get paid in. So when I say buck the system and think outside the box, it's what some of these young dudes are doing on the internet. Making a name for themselves. Thinking outside the box. Yes, it's called getting to the bag. I don't lead with money. But they're not leading with this system. This broken system. So one of the main things that I found was living for God, starting this channel, and there's certain upgrades and things that I want to do, that I will do, that got put on hold for the last 6 months because I couldn't get home. Because the infrastructure that I use, the highway I use, was basically shut down. But now I need to pick up where I left off and when that first began. So I say that to not talk too long, but say this. You have to find your purpose, okay? You have to take care of bills. And yes, I pay them just like you do too. But you need to look in. You need to think outside the box. You need to figure out a way where you need less and less people. And you maximize the resources that you have in your life. The things that can't be taken away from you. That's why I tell people to live and stand for something greater than one's own self-gratification. Because if you're always tuned into this nonsense, you're always tuned into the lies, you're always connected, you're always tired, you're always listening to them. That's how they keep you tired. And when they keep you tired, they take in your time. And if they take your time, if you never disconnect, if you're always tired, you'll never wake up. That's one of the biggest things that I realize Satan does, man. Especially the people who want to live for something greater. He might not attack you head on. He might not attack you full force. That's happened before. But when you're living this life and you're dedicating yourself to God and you're dedicating yourself to waking people up, it's the slow approach. The one that you never see coming, because you never even know what's happening. That's why I'm committed to living for God and talking about this and trying to wake y'all up, man. You got to do what you need to do. Because you're running out of time. I don't know what's going to happen this weekend. I don't know what's going to be the event that pops the balloon, but we're getting closer and closer to something. And every day is coming quicker than the day prior. That's not a coincidence. It's also in the Bible. So listen, man, it's Jared, the 20-year recovering sex addict, 20-year recovering abusive sex addict. You know my name, you know my slogan. Discernment over delusion. Live and stand for something greater than one's own self-gratification. I love y'all. I'm out.